Let's head out west. Utah versus USC again. Sorry for the longevity of the pod. Utah versus USC. Utah has owned this game. Kyle Whittingham versus Lincoln Riley. Defensive line versus cute offense. Utah's won every time. They've injured the quarterback. They've dominated the line of scrimmage. Doesn't matter where they play it. They can play it in the desert. They can play it in the mountains. They can play it on the beach. Doesn't matter. Utah will win this. Has won this game. They are a 7-point underdog. And I think one of the major questions, we can get to the actual matchups here because, again, Caleb Williams sacked 6 times, 5 turnovers last game, coming off the worst performance of his USC and maybe professional professional. We'll call it professional career. He wants to be an owner of an NFL team, by the way. I am curious where their heads are at. And do they come away licking their wounds and bow up with a little backbone and some pride and some testicular fortitude against a very, very physical opponent? Or does Utah's defense continue to dominate this series?
So Utah is tied for first in the Pac-12 with 22 sacks. 10 sacks allowed by USC the last 2 weeks, 4 to Arizona, 6 to Notre Dame. If USC's offensive line had trouble with Arizona and Notre Dame, Utah is going to be a tougher matchup for them. Now,
that's some deep stuff right there, Stephen.
I know. Now, let's flip this around. For USC, there's still an opportunity here. The loss to Notre Dame is a non-conference loss. They're 4-0 in the Pac-12. There's also a revenge angle here. They lost to Utah twice last year, the crazy game in Salt Lake City, and there was the Pac-12 championship. So if you're USC, revenge, motivation should be on your side. You should be motivated to rebound after the loss to Notre Dame. You still have everything to play for. You still have a chance to get to the Pac-12 championship game. So I think there's a lot of motivation here for USC to rebound. I think the key question for me, like I said, line of scrimmage. Does USC hold up better? I think Caleb Williams should be plenty motivated to rebound after that kind of sluggish showing against Notre Dame. I think he needs a little bit more help from his offensive line and receiving core, obviously. And then let's flip it around for Utah. What does Utah get offensively? Because they are banged up at running back. Sione Vaki, the safety, had to moonlight at running back last week, albeit he ran for over 100 yards. So they have to use him again. Bryson Barnes started at quarterback. Cam Rising, the status up in the air every week at this point. So it goes back to every time that these two teams have played. It's the third meeting since Lincoln Riley has got there. Style of play. If you're USC, can you jump on Utah? Especially with Utah's struggling offense at this point, or can Utah sort of pull USC into a slow rock fight? And if whichever style wins out, probably should win this game.
No, I could see the revenge and the motivation from the poor play against Notre Dame being a really big time factor here. And again, as we said earlier in the show, the USC defense wasn't really the problem against Notre Dame. So if they play like they did against Notre Dame, against a very good offense with with Sam Hartman and Estime and all it, and a pretty good offensive line, they should shut down Utah. And so then the question becomes, especially with a +7 point spread for Utah, can you keep it? Can you keep USC under 17 points? Is that even a thing anyone can do? Because even when they beat them, a lot of it was Cam Rising. A lot of it was the offense coming back and the defense getting stops in the second half. So I'm curious if USC are you even capable of keeping this to a 2017 game? The flip side of that is USC is completely battered and bruised and don't have the mental toughness because they haven't shown it in 4 straight weeks. And Utah's offense lines up and hits him in the face. Utah's defense lines up and hits him in the face.
I think if you're USC, I think this, for all of USC's problems, it seems to be teams that can do some motion and shifts, and they're able to stretch the field some in the passing game. Seems to give them trouble. They had, of course, Utah's physicality gave them a lot of issue last year. But I think the front is at least better this year to where it's equipped to better handle a team like Utah. And I think unless Utah gets more out of its quarterbacks, I think it's going to be a little tougher ask to go on the road and win this game. Now, I'm not doubting Kyle Whittingham and the staff because I wouldn't even touch this point spread because of the faith that I
Oh,
have.
I'm all over it, dude.
You're
all over it.
You're better than me this week because I'm staying away from it. But I think I like USC at home to rebound straight up.
I'll pick USC to win. I'll give you my bet against the spread coming up in a second.